Move on.
Some
Let's
do,
move on.
some don't.
Emily, in the Times, Michelle Mone, this just is crazy. Her husband's a guy called Doug Barrowman, who's got an awful lot of static around him as well. And he's buying a super yacht for his retirement.
I mean, I'm a bit confused because I read only just before Christmas that they were having to sell
sold it.
everything.
I don't get it either.
So
I'm
really confused because apparently their legal bills and everything else and was so high they were having to sell everything. And I sort of slightly wondered, was this one of those stories that was planted to make us feel sorry for them? And then we read that he's buying a 50 million super yacht for retirement.
It's amazing.
In terms of PR, I'm really sorry, but they've got to be a bit thick.
He's working.
It's up to him.
You think he's going to be working from home?
It's up to him to spend his money, but they are under serious political
Don't
pressure
buy a
at the
yacht.
moment. Don't, in the middle of it, go and buy a super yacht.
Let me show you something. Let me show you. So over the weekend, really interesting, there's a guy called Dan Needle, who I know a little bit actually. And Dan Needle he used to be a tax lawyer with a big law firm called Clifford Chance. And he retired very early. And he now he looks at taxes, right? And so he said, the question is, how far does Barrowman, which is Michelle Mone's husband, have to go? How many laws does he have to break before the authorities act? Now, that's actually about Barrowman's company, which gives tax advice, which may involve tax avoidance. And what's interesting, after he tweeted this, let's have a look, you then start to see Michelle Mone responds. So she's on her phone. Dan Needle's become obsessed about my husband's business interests. It's all a bit creepy. Who is he? Who's decided he is the legal and moral authority on all things tax? Let me tell you, he's former head of tax at Clifford Chance, a huge global law firm. And then she sort of goes into a bit of a screed. And then, interestingly, puts up a cartoon of Dan Needle, which she must have knocked up on her phone. And she calls him Captain Tax Avoider. He certainly, when he was giving tax advice at Clifford Chance, he was talking about companies paying less tax. I mean, that's what those guys do. But I'm not sure it's wise of her to be taking this guy on like that.
No, he's made a bit of a name for himself, hasn't he?
Was about who's advising Michelle Mone?
Well, I'm told it's her doing.
And her husband. I think they need to.
The floodgates since they gave that interview, the floodgates have opened, haven't they, on Michelle Mone's X account? I mean, the strategy seemed to be silence for a while, and then bang! Now she's like, no holds barred, let's go for it. This isn't great PR. I mean, we were talking earlier, weren't we, about the super rich. Who wants to see £50 million yachts when most of us are struggling in a cost of living crisis?
I do, as Emily says, I struggle to understand. Okay, 1 minute she's on Twitter fighting fires, basically, and that'll be an all-day job. And the next minute her husband said, I'm just popping out to buy a yacht. and then it's in the papers. And I know they want to show us they're rich, that's fine. But people then on Twitter say, well, that's our money you're spending. That's what they say, because it was all through, the money they made on the PPE thing.